Welcome back to another exciting episode of Lengua Viva Science. Anderson Cooper and Barbara Walters are your hosts, and today we've got a fascinating topic lined up. We're delving into the recent discovery of a new species of tyrannosaurid dinosaur, Bocania aguillonay, found in Mexico. This remarkable find is not just a thrilling addition to the world of paleontology, but it also sheds new light on the evolution of these magnificent creatures. Join us as we explore the significance of this discovery and what it tells us about the rich tapestry of life on Earth and the ever-unfolding story of evolution. And don't forget, you can enhance your learning experience by joining the Lengua Viva Cultural Insights Patreon community. Members get access to comprehension exercises, vocabulary lists, topic-related infographics, and full episode transcripts to practice their listening comprehension.
All right, so get ready, because today we're diving into, get this, Mexican dinosaurs.
You always find the coolest stuff to deep dive into.
You know me, always on the hunt for a good dinosaur story. And this one, let me tell you, it's a good one. So we've got this lecture about paleontological finds in Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the big reveal, the headliner, a brand new tyrannosaur species.
Oh, wow. Tyrannosaurs are like the rock stars of the dinosaur world.
Exactly. But before we get to that, the lecture talks about some other discoveries that really shake things up in terms of what we thought we knew about dinosaurs. Like, totally flip the script.
Really? Okay, now you've got to spill the beans. What kind of surprises are we talking about?
Okay, so picture this. A massive herbivore, we're talking bigger than a school bus, roaming around what's now Mexico with a, get this, a duck-billed snout.
Wait, hold on. Did you say duck-billed? Are we talking about those adrosaur dinos, the ones I've seen in museums?
Yeah, exactly. Adrosaurs. And they found huge nesting grounds in Coahuila, which is where this dinosaur gets its very catchy name, Coahuilosaurus.
Coahuilosaurus. Wow, that's a mouthful.
Right. Try saying that 3 times fast. But anyway, these nesting grounds weren't just like a couple of nests here and there. These were massive dinosaur nurseries. Eggs, hatchlings, juveniles, you name it, they found it all.
Wow, a real dino daycare. So what's so special about that? I mean, besides, being totally cool.
Well, these nests allowed paleontologists to study the growth stages of these adrosaurs. And guess what they found?
Ah, don't keep me in suspense here.
So you know how we used to think dinosaurs, like reptiles today, grew slowly? Well, these Coahuilosauruses were hitting near adult size in less than a decade.
Whoa, seriously? That's like going from a Chihuahua to a Great Dane practically overnight.
Right. So what does that tell us about how these dinos lived?
Well, for one thing, it means they must have been eating a tono.
Exactly. And not just eating, but growing at an incredible rate. It points to something incredible. Dinosaurs, even the big guys, might have had supercharged metabolisms. They were active, potentially warm-blooded creatures, more like birds or mammals than lizards.
Okay, mind blown. So not just lounging around in the sun all day. These dinos were up and about, living fast and, well, eventually dying, I guess.
Yep, that's the circle of life, even for a dinosaur. And get this, the lecture even mentions evidence of dinosaurs living within the Arctic Circle.
Hold on, are you serious? Dinosaurs in the Arctic? You're pulling my leg.
I'm totally serious. I know, it sounds crazy. Of course, the climate was warmer back then, but it still means those dinosaurs needed a way to regulate their body temperature, which further supports the whole warm-blooded active lifestyle theory.
Wow, this is really changing everything I thought I knew about dinosaurs. So we've got fast-growing, potentially warm-blooded dinos hanging out in the Arctic. This is amazing. Okay, so tell me more about this new tyrannosaur discovered in Mexico, this Bocania creature. What's the deal with that?
Right, so Bocania aguillonay.
Bocania aguillonay, that's quite a name.
It is, right? It's actually named after the La Bocana Roja Formation, where they found it. It's a layer of rock dating back millions of years. And aguillonay honors Alfredo Aguillon, a famous Mexican paleontologist.
Oh, that's cool. So was this Bocania as big as a T-Rex?
Well, not quite as big as its famous cousin, but still a force to be reckoned with. Imagine a creature longer than a pickup truck over 6 meters, with powerful legs that lifted it over 2 meters tall.
Okay, you're not kidding around. No way I'm winning a staring contest with that thing.
You and me both. La Bocania might not have been the biggest tyrannosaur, but it was undoubtedly a top predator in its environment.
It makes you wonder, what was it like back then with these incredible creatures ruling the earth?
I know, right? And speaking of environments, that's where this discovery gets really interesting in terms of understanding tyrannosaur evolution as a whole. So we've got this fearsome predator, La Bocania, ruling ancient Mexico. But where does it fit into The whole tyrannosaur family tree. It seems like every other week there's a new dinosaur discovery shaking things up.
You're right, it's a super dynamic field, always changing. And Bocania is like this, I don't know, this missing piece of the puzzle. It really helps us understand how tyrannosaurs evolved and spread all over the planet.
Okay, so walk me through it. Where do we even begin with the tyrannosaur story?
Well, believe it or not, tyrannosaurs actually go way back, like way, way back to the middle Jurassic period.
Wow, really? I had no idea they'd been around that long. So we're talking millions and millions of years ago.
Yeah, try like 175 million years ago. They were around way longer than I think most people realize.
So they weren't always these apex predators. I always pictured them, ruling the late Cretaceous, the big guys on the block.
Right, exactly, yeah. But for millions of years, they were actually kind of small, almost like living in the shadows of these much larger predators.
Fascinating. So when did they have their big break, so to speak?
Well, it all changed around 80 million years ago during this super intense period of evolution called, get this, adaptive radiation.
Adaptive radiation sounds kind of intense, like a dinosaur rave or something.
Yeah, something like that. But basically, it's when you have one really adaptable species and suddenly, boom, they evolve into all these new species. And each of these new species is perfectly suited to a specific environment and lifestyle. Like, imagine if your family suddenly branched out with everyone adapting to totally different parts of the world and ways of life.
Okay, I'm picturing, like, some tyrannosaurs went for the beach life, others became mountain climbers, but all while rocking those tiny arms, right?
You got it. And that's what makes Bocania so important. You see, it lived during this crazy time of tyrannosaur diversification about 66 million years ago. So, by studying Bocania and its environment, we can catch a glimpse of this amazing evolutionary success story.
It's like Bocania is holding a piece of the puzzle, showing us how tyrannosaurs went from, like you said, living in the shadows to becoming these ultimate dinosaur rulers.
Exactly. And the coolest part is that all this knowledge about evolution isn't just about digging up old bones. It actually has some serious implications for us today, even for the future.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. What does a dinosaur from millions of years ago have to do with us now?
Well, remember at the end of that lecture where it mentioned science fiction becoming reality? It's all about evolution, particularly at the genetic level. That's giving us these incredible new tools.
So you're talking about things like, what's it called, CRISPR-Cas, the gene editing stuff. Is that even real or just sci-fi?
Oh yeah, CRISPR is definitely real and it's revolutionary. It's still early days, but imagine being able to make these super precise changes to DNA, basically editing the code of life itself. And it's all thanks to what we're learning about genes and evolution.
So are you saying instead of just waiting for evolution to happen, we could like fast forward it, even steer it in a specific direction? It's incredible, but also kind of terrifying at the same time.
It definitely makes you think. Think about it. We've already been influencing evolution for a long time, right? Through things like selective breeding, like how we've gotten all these dog breeds or how we get disease-resistant crops. But CRISPR could give us a whole new level of control.
I see what you mean. We're not just talking about how a tyrannosaur lived millions of years ago. We're talking about understanding the core of evolution and how we might be able to actually use that knowledge. That's mind-blowing.
Exactly, and it all comes back to these discoveries. Like Bocania, each fossil brings us closer to understanding the big picture.
This is incredible. Before we go full Jurassic Park, and trust me, I'm already there, can we maybe back up for a second?
Sure.
What do we actually know about Bocania's life?
Right.
Like, how did it live? How did it hunt? Paint me a picture here.
Okay, so imagine this. You're a plant-eating dinosaur just munching on ferns by a prehistoric coastline.
Okay, so we're this little plant eater just chilling on the beach, 66 million years in the past. What's on the prehistoric menu for me?
Well, you're in luck. Bocania's old stomping grounds, they were this lush coastal region.
Lush. Huh. Sounds nice.
Oh, yeah, a real paradise. Anyway, point is, there was probably a ton of tasty stuff for it to eat.
Like what? Give me the dino buffet highlights.
Oh, the classics. Fish, other marine life, probably anything that wandered too close to those impressive teeth.
Right, those teeth. So you're saying this wasn't just some land-loving predator. This Bocania might have been a bit of a beach bum, too.
Exactly. It might have even been a pretty strong swimmer, although, we don't have any, solid proof of that yet.
Okay, now that's a scary thought, a swimming tyrannosaur.
Yeah.
This whole time I've been picturing Bocania as this, super fast, agile hunter. But what if it was more of an ambush predator? Using the cover of the forest to sneak up on its prey?
Oh, yeah, totally. We have to remember we're working with like a fraction of the information. It's like we're trying to solve a puzzle, but, half the pieces are missing.
We got some assembly required, basically.
Exactly.
Ah.
So, yeah, we can make educated guesses based on, what we've got the fossils, what we know about modern predators. But who knows what else is out there, right?
Right. There could be a whole other side to La Bocania we haven't even discovered yet. So, okay, let's recap. We don't have this dinosaur's entire life story figured out, but we know it was at the top of the food chain, probably loved a good seafood snack, and definitely made life very interesting for its plant-eating neighbors.
You got it. And that's what's so cool about paleontology, right? Always finding new stuff, always learning, constantly rewriting the story of life on Earth.
A never-ending detective story.
The best kind.
And in this case, the clues are buried in, well, more like fossilized in rock. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Millions of years ago, these creatures were alive, they were roaming the Earth, and now here we are uncovering their secrets.
And it makes you wonder, what will they discover, I don't know, a million years from now about us? What will our fossils say?
It really makes you think. And you know what else makes me think? That line from the lecture. Science fiction has a bad habit of becoming reality. I mean, we talk about gene editing, CRISPR.
Mm-hmm.
But when you connect that with all these crazy dinosaur discoveries, it kind of makes you wonder, what's next?
Oh, absolutely. Like, where are we going with all this? It's a total trip.
Seriously, are you saying that someday all this stuff, dinosaurs, genetics, evolution, it could all lead to something straight out of a movie?
I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be riding dinosaurs anytime soon, but who knows? What seemed impossible a few decades ago is, like, becoming normal now.
It's true. When you put it that way, it's not that crazy.
Yeah. We're already using CRISPR to develop new medicines, create new crops that can survive anything.
Right. I've heard about that.
What if we could use that same technology to help endangered species? Give them a fighting chance.
Okay, now that is seriously cool. I'd be down for that kind of science fiction future.
Me too. It's a good reminder that we're not just digging up the past, we're actually shaping the future.
Absolutely. This has been quite a journey. From like dinosaur daycare in ancient Mexico to like the cutting edge of genetic engineering. I feel like we've time traveled through science.
I know, right?
Well, on that note, I think we've given our listeners plenty to chew on. No pun intended, of course.
Plenty to think about. It's been fun as always. Until next time.
Always a blast.
Yeah.
And for you listening out there, keep exploring, keep those brains engaged, and until next time, stay curious.
Words that flow like rivers do. Learn a language, join the crew. Every lesson something new. Lengua Viva here for you.
Grammar rules and vocab tight. Practice every day and night. Conversations feeling right. Change your world with words so bright.
Lengua Viva, take a chance.